Okefenokee Swamp appears to be a mercury hotspot. A recent study out of the University of Georgia reveals alligators living in Okefenokee have high levels of mercury. Scientists now calling the findings concerning. Researchers took blood samples from over 100 alligators from Okefenokee Swamp, Jekyll Island, and the Yawkey Wildlife Center in Georgetown, South Carolina. Alligators in Okefenokee Swamp had mercury levels 8 times higher than alligators living in the other 2 locations. So we tracked down the lead author of this study, Kristen Zemaitis, for this week's Asked and Answered.
Alligators are an apex predator. They are the top of the food web, and if we're finding high levels of mercury in these individuals, then we know that there is mercury in the other animals in the ecosystem.
Zemaitis says these high concentrations of mercury are accumulating through the Okefenokee food web. So mercury starts out in the water, and for example, it might be ingested by an insect that's eaten by a frog, that's eaten by a fish, that's eaten by a bird, and ultimately eaten by an alligator. So the further up the food chain, the more mercury accumulates along the way. But fish pose the biggest risk to humans as the Okefenokee Swamp flows into both the St. Mary's and Sewanee rivers.
If you eat a lot of fish, it would be really smart to get tested for mercury. You can still go to these places and enjoy them without having to worry about mercury getting into your system, as long as you're not eating a lot of the fish from the ecosystem.
Now, right now, the Georgia Environmental Protection Division recommends eating fish from these areas only about once a week, once a month for pregnant women. So we're going to post a link to that website so you can look up the guidelines, specifically where you live, up on WTOC.com. Now, we also reached out on the federal level. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service sent us a statement saying that they are aware of this study and they are studying the situation. So we'll continue to follow this. Zemaitis says more research will need to happen to pinpoint exactly where the mercury is coming from, but is likely from human-related activities like burning coal and trash, industrial processes, and mining. Do you have a question that you want us to get answered? You can submit your questions to WTOC.com/asked and answered, and we'll feature those answers Wednesdays right here on WTOC.